Whitewashing is a real thing in the United States, so let me teach you a couple things that they didn't teach you in school about Black history. The importance of teaching people the truth is vital to progression, to freedom, to pure knowledge. I literally started this career because I was tired of teaching bullshit. Watered down lies with a hefty serving of whitewashing. See, Black history is American history. And I'm just sick and tired of our school systems teaching only 5% of the half-assed truth and leaving out at least 95% of the real truth. Because they don't want to make it known how Black Americans have actually influenced so many things that you use every single day. So let me show you a couple things that you probably didn't know about this part of American history. Bessie Coleman was the first African American and Native American woman to pilot a plane. When Bessie's brother came home from World War I, he told his little sister about women pilots in France. This immediately sparked something in Bessie, and she knew this is exactly what she wanted to do. The only problem was no aviation program was going to accept her in the United States. So Bessie said, it, I'll go to France. My brother wouldn't lie about women pilots there, and he didn't. She attended the Cabron Brothers School of Aviation in Le Crétoy. By 1921, she became the first Black Native American woman to fly an airplane. So she came back to the United States and started entertaining people. She was actually well known for making figure-8 patterns in the sky. Greenwood, also known as Tulsa or Black Wall Street, was a self-operating Black community in the early 1900s. Being set in Oklahoma on a Native American territory, the District of Greenwood, founded in 1906, would be settled by Black Americans fairly quickly. See, Oklahoma was actually seen as a safe haven for Black Americans. After the Civil War, Black Americans said you to the south and moved north, which would make sense why most of them would settle in Oklahoma. Greenwood had it all, man. See, it was the wealthiest Black community in the United States, which had a bunch of Black-owned businesses, movie theaters, banks, barbershops, and hospitals. But remember, this is 1906. This stuff was unheard of. But racial violence eventually arose. Members of the Ku Klux Klan attacked Greenwood and left it smoldered in ashes. Hundreds of people lost their lives, their homes, their businesses, their movie theaters, their everything. It became infamously known as the Tulsa Massacre of 1921. Rosa Parks was not the first woman to give up her seat to a white passenger. 15-year-old Claudette Colvin did the exact same thing. 9 months before Rosa Parks did her historic thing of telling a white passenger to eat her and that she wasn't giving up her seat for Whitey, Claudette Colvin did the same thing. Only problem was she was 15 years old. She was escorted out of the bus by 2 police officers, arrested and slapped with a fine. She also became one of the 4 women in Browder versus Gale court case, which ultimately overturned bus segregation in Alabama. Greenbow, Alabama, Jenny.
You should go home to Greenbow, Alabama.
Katherine Johnson, a NASA mathematician whose work was vital to sending American astronauts into orbit and landing a man on the moon. Being born in Sulphur Springs, West Virginia in 1918, Johnson became very good at math at a very young age. She skipped a bunch of grades and even went to West Virginia University as the only Black woman there. In 1958, she started working for the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautic, NACA, which we know today as NASA. She analyzed flight tests for them, and in 1957, she became part of the Space Task Force, which catapulted further space exploration. She co-authored the report of orbital spaceflight and was credited for that work, making her the first woman to have such credentials. In 2015, President Obama awarded Johnson the Presidential Medal of Freedom, honoring her beautiful contributions to everything that she's done for NASA. The movie Hidden Figures is actually about her life. It's incredible. Check it out. Black universities and colleges housed Jewish people during World War II seeking asylum from Nazi Germany. As we know, the United States likes to say, we love immigrants, but they don't. They actually limited the amount of Jewish refugees at that time during World War II. The United States wanted them to prove that they can sustain on their own and not be a public charge to the nation. In come Black colleges and universities and they're like, hey man, hey Jewish people, we know how it is. Come on over here, we got you, man. Get in here. Come to our colleges and we'll help you out. 50 Jewish scholars were hired, which ultimately saved their lives at institutions such as Howard University in Washington, D.C. and Tougaloo College in Mississippi. This eventually opened the door to promote meaningful conversations between black and white people. 1 in 4 cowboys were black. See, when we think of cowboys, we think of these silver horse riding, dusty, raggedy beard looking motherfuckers. Every cowboy that I know was white, well, except for the cowboy in Blazing Saddles.
Hey, where are the white women at?
No, but seriously, there was plenty of black cowboys in America. Following the abolition of slavery, many free men moved north to Ohio, North Dakota, and Nebraska. Hell, the inspiration for the idea of the Lone Ranger was inspired by a black man named Bass Reeves. So, boom, racists. A black man's idea sparked the start for vaccinations. A hot and sadly controversial topic today with Rona still roaming around the world unaliving people. Well, ladies and gents and my non-binary friends, we wouldn't be talking about vaccinations at all if it wasn't for a man named Onesimus. In the early 16th century, Onesimus was sent from modern-day Libya to Boston to the Puritan church minister Cotton Mathers as a slave. During that time, Onesimus told Mathers an age-old technique he used to use back in Libya, a century-old technique of inoculation. He basically explained to Mathers that if someone in the tribe got infected with a virus that they were unaware of, they would extract materials from the infected person and scratch it into the skin of a non-infected person to create a system of immunity. See, Mathers immediately jumped on that shit. He went to the local scientist in that town and begged him to look into this, as they were in a 1721 smallpox epidemic. Yeah, 1721, they also had an epidemic where, surprise, surprise, vaccines helped him get back to normal. But 70 years later, this exact technique Onesimus told Mathers would help create a vaccine and vaccinate the Revolutionary Army. Look, I went to public school and college here in the United States, and I was never taught these things. Never. Until I started researching myself, which I find absolutely repulsive that I had to do that. Luckily, we have modern historians that like to teach people the truth. You can find this stuff on the internet. It is sourced and it's in English, just the way you guys like it. Now, here's my question. Did you know any of this information before this video? If so, or if not, comment below. Let me know. I'll see you in the comment section. And if you can, friends, please support the channel on Patreon. Join my private community on Discord. Get early access to all my videos. Be part of my Patreon-only podcast, The Ghost Effect Podcast, where you can be on there, you can pick the topic, and we can chat. I'll leave the link in the description and in the card right here. I hope to see you there. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my weekly videos. And if you want to know the truth behind why the United States doesn't have universal health care, then check out my video right here.